sir. Okay, it's about a minute before the start time, but I believe we can go ahead and get started. So I'll call this meeting to order. Would the secretary call the roll, please?
John Kerr,
Here.
David Nolan,
Here.
Mary Ann Baker is here, Rhonda Keesley, Dennis Foster,
He's no longer. Isn't that right, Dave? Yes, I hear that. That's right.
okay. Harold Pruitt here, Thomas Harper,
Here.
Mark Swalker,
Here.
David Thomas,
Here.
Sam Edwards,
Here.
Mary Turner, Mary Chambers.
Okay, so we can, Mr. Foster did resign and, Ms. Harold Pruitt has been appointed to take his place.
No, she took Daryl Smith's place.
Okay, I stand corrected. You got that, Darrell. It's got so Ms. Harold is taking, Darrell's place, and we welcome her to the Plan Commission. I served with her for several years on the county court, and she's I think will be a very good member to this commission. Next on our agenda is the approval of the minutes. Everybody's had an opportunity to look at the minutes and see if there's any corrections or changes that need to be made. Has anybody noted any? Hearing none, I will accept the motion to approve the minutes. Mr. Nolan? Approve. Mr. Nolan makes a motion to approve the April 12th minutes. Do I have a second? Mr. Thomas seconds. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say no. They do carry. Do we have any changes to the agenda? I asked Sam on the way up the stairs, and he said there were none, so Harold's come on at the perfect time.
It's unusual, we usually have some.
Yeah, usually, you would think so, especially this time of year. But you know, it works out that way once in the spring. It doesn't seem to be. You're welcome. You're welcome. Yeah. So we have no old business, we have no new business. Under old business, I guess we could talk just a minute about some of the rezonings. I believe all the rezonings that, or the zonings that we had approved for the county court, I believe they did pass on first reading at their last meeting. That was the Carmen property down by the Blankenship, and then down by the on 231, I believe was the other one. So as far as rezonings and things, I guess we're moving along real well on that.
I believe this month will be the public hearing for those properties.
Should be the public hearing and then the last, the vote on it. I did attend along with Ms. Baker and Mr. Nolan, the county court meeting regarding the sidewalk issue and cluster mailboxes. We met up here about a month ago, or something like that. Landon Gully chaired that committee. And we discussed, had a good all-round discussion, I think, on the subject. No decision was made. Decided to come back. Was it the 18th of this month, Mary Ann?
I believe that
It
was tentative.
tentative date. I've got all the stuff to him. Send it to him today, so we will be letting us know the date.
If it does happen to be on the 18th, I will be able to attend that meeting since the school board moved its May meeting back to the last week of the month to accommodate one of our members that needed to do that.
Mr. Chairman, in watching that meeting, it seemed like it took a while to get to it. It seems like the only issue now is the funding mechanism, which we were discussing before we ever sent it to them, of how to, when the contractor leaves the subdivision, how does the maintenance, get taken care of?
I do feel like that's the main issue that's before that committee and actually probably before the court itself.
Yeah.
There seems to be at least one member of that committee that's not going to support it regardless, and possibly another one. But I believe the feel I got from the entire committee was the need to manage that in the future. I think most of the members of that committee agreed that sidewalks, especially the cluster mailboxes, which can't do anything about the cluster mailboxes. And a couple of them had the idea that that the developer put them out there wherever they want. I think we know from experience that that's not a solution to anything. As we were discussing earlier about property that we approved in the past, it was never done to it as we were told it would be. So, but I do believe that the majority of that committee did not agree with that sentiment, and that they feel like you're going to have to have it.
Yeah.
So there needs to be some management of those put in place. I think it probably will take a few months to have something done.
For the rest of us to kind of understand how is it going to affect the changes we made to our requirements as far as the subdivision requirements that we approved and we have sole power over versus the county not changing it in the zoning? Does that become a conflict or?
Well,
It just
I'm
means that
aware.
the subdivision regulations cover the subdivision, right? So anytime that we're doing plat, or full subdivision, that's what we're doing. Site plan, or any kind of site plan comes in front of us, so if we're looking at any kind of commercial or multifamily or any kind of development that's coming in front of us, the site plan, we're not gonna have any permission to require that pedestrian improvements in association. So for example, I think that I just wrote a letter trying to explain this to the committee, that I sent to Sam, but for example, we reviewed, Harper Avenue, all the time over there.
Yeah.
Last month, 2 months ago, there was no sidewalk around the site plan, there's no way for us to ask him to put sidewalks between the town and to the dumpster enclosure or, to the mailbox. So that kind of takes away the ability to ask for that. That's the power of having. So, and at the same time, in the boxes, there's no provision to ask someone to show us where they're putting in townhomes or apartments. We don't have anything to say. Really, in there, it's just kind of an FYI, if you're gonna have a cluster mailbox, so you should show us where it's gonna go on the site, so we know how you're accommodating it. It still ask you to be shown, but it's just much easier to have it required from it. What law standards are.
So to clarify, if we get site plan next month, even though we had it in our subdivision regulations, what does that mean?
Means that they can go sidewalk out, they can't ask them to. It's not required.
I didn't understand it that way. I thought that's like David said, some of the part of the code that we go, I thought if we put it in, there, that we could apply it, and then
Correct.
it's there.
And then we put it in subdivision regulations.
So if the subdivision comes first, we can,
Yes,
oh, okay.
if we're doing site plan, we have no way to require. Or any kind of sharing accommodation.
So Mr. Carmen's property would have come in this month versus, well, no, his rezoning will be affected by it.
Well, I mean,
His rezoning will be approved till after.
he's on the reason, so he hasn't even started the process of.
So his
getting a plan
subdivision,
or anything.
So if
Yeah,
you come
his
in front of us
subdivision
with
would.
a subdivision, yes, we do have authority to say. we
To
want
do this,
sidewalks
okay.
association with that.
so that being said now, it does come back to the funding of maintenance afterwards, because we're requiring it to be put in there. So
Yeah,
we're kind of forcing that issue. Someone's got to figure out who's going to pay for that.
So
and it,
Mary has provided options. We're gonna let the codes committee go over them.
Okay.
and
Because
I think
we don't
talked
set those things, but the county commission needs to come up with something.
And if you notice in the meeting, and I've said this at the county court meeting that I attended, and I think I said it at the meeting, you know, one of the reasons that we didn't discuss that is because we're not a part of the funding body. That's not part of our agenda or our orders to do.
I mean, we can have the authority to do it.
That's right, we don't have any authority. We might could suggest, and we're more than willing to work with them. But we have no authority to do that. Mayor, would you like to speak?
Yes, sir. For Mr. Carmen's subdivision, he's still gonna be inside the urban services district. So the urban services under the charter is a municipal corporation. It's supposed to act like a city. Well, part of your taxes you pay when you're in the city is to maintain sidewalks. We actually put $40,000 in this year's budget. So that one should be covered under the urban services district's tax rate to do sidewalk rehabilitation, which is what we're gonna do. We actually contacted the engineer. We're gonna put together a 5-year plan for rehabilitation in the downtown area. Update the plan every year, then expand sidewalks out to part with our personal connectivity plans. So in the future, there should be something in the budget, as long as I'm here, there'll be something in the budget to do sidewalks, maintain them, and that kind of thing. So that's part of the, I think it's over 88 cents you pay in the urban services district, should be going towards sidewalk maintenance.
And along that line, I've been thinking and kind of bouncing some ideas around of, with the subdivisions, could we do, could the county commission, not us, but the county commission, do like maybe like a tax addendum like you are for the urban services, just for those subdivisions, so that that part of your property tax would then go into a fund just for doing that maintenance.
Sam, I think we'll answer that.
So it was discussed that I don't think we should go into a whole lot of detail until it goes further, but I could send y'all what we've got on options.
Okay.
It was discussed that there's more promising options of paying pay ahead of time for sidewalks they're not doing. Taxes.
yeah, that's primarily the example that I sent for. We talked a little bit about it here, but a lot of other communities and actually Sumner County for some as well. It's pretty common to, in addition to have some requirements in locations where you're not going to require some. But topography, or still rural, there's connect to, you can opt staff as well. And the way this is set up for payment, so like the, for example, Sumner County, $5 per square foot. Would go into a payment. And then Sumner County is talking to the planner there, they're hoping to use what funds they have from sidewalk include actually ADA improvements, fix some ramps and widen some areas.
I think the best plan would be for the developer just to start, as they can add restrictions when they do the deeding of those subdivided properties, for them to be able to add their own little homeowners association, and it's a private thing that has nothing to do with the county, and they take care of their own private property. I think would be the greatest thing, but I don't know how.
That's one option. For some reason, some on the county court really seem to either not understand homeowners associations or just be against them for some reason.
Okay.
And one of the things I always like to say is if I don't want to be a member of the homeowners association,
Yeah.
I will not buy a home in a subdivision with a homeowners association.
Yeah.
I make that decision myself. But, it's just, again, we're, as long as we've been discussing it,
Yeah.
I really feel like the county court's just kind of getting started.
Yeah.
On the process. Would you agree, Mary Ann and David and Mayor? Sam, we're just, the county court is just kind of really in the infancy of coming up with something there, I would think.
I think it's gonna be 2 more months before the codes committee makes a decision either way, and then it's gotta be kicked back to the commissioners.
And that have probably have 2 readings, public hearing, that type of thing.
I guess my concern is the overlap between our regulations being, passed and enforced on subdivisions, and then the funding mechanism being figured out down the road. Can that go back and still follow on with those?
I don't think so. I don't think you could be retroactive on that. The mayor would be more knowledgeable in that area than I am.
Also, could you repeat that?
So the regulations we've passed that will be enforcing subdivisions coming forward, right now, there's not a funding mechanism put in place from the county saying, this is how you'll fund that. Is there a way that when the county commission decides how that's going to be done, that can be retroactive and pick up these that have, the community mailboxes already? So that those homeowners aren't just left in the lurch when a tree falls on the mailbox.
Well,
So the
we
cluster
need to
mail,
separate these issues.
the cluster
Cluster
mailboxes are-
something that we're asking for private in the right of way. So
Yeah.
that would be alerted to the county as far as payment for fair.
Yeah.
Mailboxes, we established need to be on a separate lot and maintained by each way. So that will
Okay.
never be a funded burden on the county.
we won't pay for the mailboxes.
So, okay, then this is where I'm confused then, because if we can say that the mailboxes is gonna be funded by an HOA, then why is the controversy about the sidewalks?
It's whether it'll be in the right of way or not. So when it comes through, if we look at the plat and we ask for it to be outside of the right of way belonging to the community, then the HOA will have to be responsible because it's okay. If it falls within our street, we're responsible.
One of the things I was leery about, or concerned about, was just having some mailboxes where somebody could drive up and get their mail.
Yeah.
There are people that are gonna have to walk. There, even though it would be a young subdivision, at some point in time, there's gonna be older people living there that would wanna walk. There may even be people in wheelchairs or something. And so the safety issue is still, to me, the paramount reason for it. It's not an aesthetic thing or anything like that. It's safety, it's keeping people out of the road and mixing, as I, 40 years in the school system always taught me, you don't want to mix kids with school buses. Those get, the car riders. That's why if you had kids in school, we make a great effort to separate the car riders from the kids getting on the school bus because of safety. And to me, this is the same thing.
I passed 4 people just today on 25.
Yeah.
And the cars were in my lane. trying to get around.
Especially going from Andrews down 25 out towards grade school. With that guardrail right there, you've got people walking back and forth through there. You got nowhere to go as a driver.
25 is a heavily walked road. Those people out here where I live that walk to Oldham's Market and back, and then closer into town.
People who live in the motel out there,
Yeah.
they walk to the market up there, and walk back with groceries. And they have to walk right in,
It's very dangerous.
but yeah,
And in several areas, it's a cliff, it's a drop off. on both
Yeah.
sides. There's really nowhere for cars to go.
And that being a state road, there's not really anything we can do about it.
Pre-planned for our roads.
Well, hopefully the mayor has a good grant proposal out to extend the sidewalks here on Broadway on up. It's my understanding that the state's going to do something with that intersection up there. Going up.
They're supposed to do it, first it's gonna be 4-way, turning lanes all in all 4 directions, new traffic lights and all that stuff. And that's, the last I heard, it's supposed to go bid the fall of this year. COVID 7 days off, I can't guarantee.
No.
that's gonna happen.
I wouldn't, I still hoping that the 141 project will get completed sometime in my lifetime. Okay. Anything else that we've discussed or talked about lately that anybody wants to talk about or bring up, or that we passed or might pass? That's not me yet.
I will say the county commission did do a budget amendment. We retained Greater Nashville Regional Council to do a strategic plan for the county. So that's, going to be starting the process, and that's kind of one of the things they recommend, we do a strategic plan before we move on and do another comprehensive plan, because ours is 25 years old, I think. And it's updated at this point, so we are doing that, and that should be a 10-year plan, I believe, that it should cover just about anything under the sun. It's going to be a drawn-out process, but we are getting that, so we should get that in place. That's something we can use for, not just to guide us where we're going in the next 10 years, but it can be used for grants and all this kind of stuff. So it'd be interesting to see what the result of that is.
It will be.
Be a novel idea for the planning commission to have a plan.
Well, I mean, I was around about 25 years ago.
It's pretty accurate. I read through it.
And you do need something like that.
Yeah.
We all need guidance instead of just what we happen to think about that particular night or
Yeah.
that particular meeting.
I'm working on a growth plan now. What's a community growth assistance?
Oh, the redistricting.
Redistricting, committee, I'm working on a growth plan right now, so we're all expand. I'll be glad to provide.
Mayor, do we have any census data?
The only thing they released so far for like house districts and the state as a whole, and that's part of how we won't get anything local specific until September 30th.
I'm just curious from not only from a planning commission, but a school board and just as a taxpayer.
Yeah.
Because it looks to me like we've grown. I would be disappointed if we haven't.
Yeah.
You know. Okay, we do have some couple of things under report from the building inspector. Property maintenance complaints have been addressed. I'm sure that's something that will always continue. Sam, would you just like to go ahead and give your report?
We got 10 sent through court recently. Court's been slow, but they're starting to pick up on my stuff that I've got pending for them. We got 10 sent through, and then settled. It's just judge, that's what I wanted. We approved everything, so which is great news. It makes it support us, and then we can start getting things further down the road and cleaning up and catching up on some of these past complaints. But everything's working out. Everybody's cleaning up, doing what they're supposed to do. Our biggest issue right now is campers and sheds. They're popping up all the time. And it's just somebody waiting on somebody to tell me that it's out on something. They get taken care of.
Put the camper,
Just moving in, driving in a camper or something, setting it up, living in.
Living in campers, living in sheds. They're popping up all over.
They think they can come to these rural counties and just do that.
But if anybody's watching today, just, there's a planning form on the county website, so applying something to it. And research it, and it's legitimate. And we'll get to it here.
Building permits.
Building permits are steady, they haven't slowed down. Lumber prices have not gone down, but contractors are still building, and they're still building at the same rates, and not fast. As you can see about subdivisions, we have come through, not stopping. There are new materials out that people are using. Keep it interesting.
It must be fun trying to keep up with the codes on the new materials
I
versus
spent
traditional.
all day researching and calling various people because a lot of the new materials are not mentioned. So it's a lot of research on engineering diagrams, so trying to figure out what you are supposed to do properly. Like there's a new material out, you got to use a very specific type of tape. You got to verify. it's constantly changing, especially with where lumber prices are. Everybody's trying to do that. And 50-year-old, it's.
Mary, you have any?
American, like, that's the way I thought it.
Mayor, any last comments?
No, we just have a lot of development going on. Hopefully we may have some projects landed over at Powercom Park here in the future. There'll be some big projects hopefully. And, we just seen a lot of growth and we just see it continue on.
I think you're right. Any other members of the commission, anything to bring up before we adjourn? If not, I would accept a motion to adjourn.
Make most of it.
Have a motion, do I have a second? We are adjourned.
Thank you.